Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to an open consultation of the first community seed bank, and actually community seed home, as we call it in Poland. This meeting is aimed at presenting the idea for the first community seed home and sharing a dialogue about how it can improve with an international expert, Ronnie Vernooy from Bioversity International. This meeting is part of a larger series of Agro-Perma-Lab seed training, which has been a 10-module and a 6-week-long training for educators, activists, and community leaders from permaculture and agroecology communities from Poland. We have been discussing strategies for establishing community seed homes, techniques, as well as management processes of seed saving. So if you'd like to learn more about it, please visit our website on www.agro-permalab.org. This project is part of Community Seed Bank's Academy grant. It's also been supported by Scola Campesina, as well as has the patronage of National Center for Plant Genetic Resources of Poland. Without further ado, I would like to invite our expert speaker for today and guest from Bioversity International, Ronnie Vernooy, following by other participants, trainees and trainers from Agro-Perma-Lab seed training. And in few words, Ronnie Vernooy has worked on questions related to conservation and sustainable use of agricultural biodiversity for more than 25 years, spreading his expertise and drawing experience from countries as far as China, Colombia, Cuba, Honduras, Mongolia, Nepal, and Nicaragua, and Vietnam. So we have great privilege to welcome his experience and perspective. His work focuses on policy and legal aspects of safeguarding and sustainable use of plant genetic resources. This is both ex situ and in situ, and stemming from local to international level. So very relevant for how we approached the topic of seeds in our own training, from local to global perspectives. His particular interest in community seed banks as a form of collective resource management and their roles in providing voice to farmers and keep local crop diversity is also strongly linked to preserving the knowledge of seed saving in the hands of people. And he's also a collaborator at the Center for Development Innovation in Wageningen University. Among us are trainees and trainers from Agro-Perma-Lab seed training, from Food Sovereignty Network in Poland. And I'd like to ask everyone now to briefly introduce yourself and bring yourself to this meeting. Thank you. Starting with Marta, and I will be calling you out. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. My name is Marta. I am shortly, I will say a few words about me, but also I would like to represent Danusia, who unfortunately cannot be here with us today because she has a really bad network quality. So myself, I studied livestock science, and that's also basically what I do every day. We run a horse farm together with my husband. We breed horses here in Poland, and we also have a trail riding stable. And basically, I'm a gardener and a seed saver since a few years. And now I'm starting together with Danusia, the community seed bank here in Poland. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Yes, Magda?
Oh, sorry. I forgot to say something about Dana, of course. Danusia, she is a social animator. She's an educator. She works with adults and as well also with children in local communities. And she's also a trainer for deep ecology, and she has an organic garden since many years. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Violetta Olejarczyk, and I'm a farmer in Michałów, next to Częstochowa in Poland. I'm a seed keeper, and I can show you as well some proofs that I have some seeds at my home with us. I started food cooperative in Częstochowa and CSA, and as well a network Seed Power. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Emilia. I'm the person responsible for the publication, that is initiative from Agro-Perma-Lab Foundation, the publication on community seed banks, in the first publication in Polish to be published on this subject. And I already have some knowledge about seed saving and such initiatives and breeding, but when I read publications about community seed banks all over the world. So thank you, Ronnie, for sharing this valuable material. So when I read it, I start to realize how complex this issue is, how many questions there are, tasks and things to arrange. So I'm really looking forward to participating in this meeting.
Hi, I'm Marcelina Haramza. I am from the food cooperative in Poznań, and I will say short, I'm here because I have this big hope that we can start a seed bank too here in the heart of the greater Poland in Poznań. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Agnieszka. I'm a culture practitioner, and currently I work in a research project on allotment and community gardens in Warsaw and Berlin. And I'm allotment gardener myself. And in our colony, we established a community seed bank. So I'm looking forward to hear your experience. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Veronika. I'm the project coordinator together with Joanna of the Agro-Perma-Lab Seeds project and the board member of Agro-Perma-Lab Foundation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think it's my turn. Well, it's really wonderful to hear your different backgrounds and stories. So I'm Ronnie. I originally from the Netherlands, but most of my life I have worked and lived in other countries. You heard already quite a long list from Joanna. Right now, since 2011, I work for Bioversity International, which is one of the international agricultural research centers. And our mission is really to try to conserve the agrobiodiversity, mostly in what we call the developing world, but we also, every now and then, we also work in Europe and other parts of the world. And I'm part of a group of people that specifically deal with agrobiodiversity and food security. And as Joanna already said, our work really spans from the basic level of working with farmer communities to the international level, where we try to influence the policy arena and to make it more smallholder farmer friendly. I'm trained as a rural development sociologist. So my background is in the social sciences, but because of my work over the last 30 years, I have gained some knowledge about plant breeding, in particular participatory plant breeding, and now community seed banks. And I guess my interest in all of this maybe go back to my roots, because my grandparents, they were smallholder farmers here in the Netherlands, in the middle of the country, including trying to have a kind of home garden and seed saving activities already. That was 30, 40 years ago. So thank you for inviting me. It's a real pleasure. And just to close, I really want to congratulate you now with the endorsement of the National Gene Bank of your country. I think there are many community seed banks in the world who could only dream about this. And I think if you can start with this from the beginning, then you have a very big advantage. So thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie, and thank you all of you, wonderful seed savers. Indeed, we've just received today the final declaration by the National Gene Bank that they uphold their willingness to support in terms of technical assistance and even storage the sprouting community seed banks. So we hope this collaboration will help our agrobiodiversity in Poland and in the bioregion of Central Eastern Europe. Now I would like to ask Marta to prepare her presentation and to just let you know how we will move on with our program today. Now Marta will present for 20 minutes on the concept of first community seed home. Then we will give floor back to Ronnie, who will give his feedback and contextualize how this idea fits into other models. And we will open the floor for a shared conversation to see what other perceptions and critical comments there are. And just a word on why in Poland we have started using the word community seed homes as opposed to community seed banks. We feel strongly that those live resources that we spend the whole year with the plants and then cleaning and sorting and storing are really part of our homes and family lives, and that's why we're using the word homes to notify that this is something close to our hearts. Marta, I am handing over to you the voice. Thank you.
I have to unmute here. I have to unmute, sorry. Now, can you tell me if you see my presentation?
Yes, it's showing up. You can proceed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for the introduction. I'm very pleased that I can give you an insight into our plans and show you the concept of our first community seed bank, or as Asia was saying, community seed house or seed home would be a better term in the Polish language, so I will rather use this term. First of all, I would like to introduce who we are. We are a bunch of farmers, gardeners, seed savers. Right now we are about 6 people. We have also different background, like some of us are animal breeders, some of us are farmers, but also educators, activists, and we basically share seeds since a few years, but we never organized like a bigger event or a meeting, so we changed this. Last year, in 2020, we celebrated the Day of Seeds and Biodiversity, which is actually an annual event taking place in the first week of October here in Poland. And I would say that this was the beginning of our local seed network activity. And during this meeting, we discussed how the development of such a seed network here locally might look like. We were 9 participants. We decided also on 2 to 3 seed exchange meetings per year, and we wanted to create a list of seed keepers and a register of locally saved seeds. And this will be part of our community seed home. Yeah, and the site where we are, well, basically we are in the Western Sudetes, which is the Western Sudetes, of course, is a big region. So we are located in the Kaczawa Mountains, and the seed home, the community seed home, will be located on a farm that is called Ptasia Dolina. The area where the community's home will be is very rural, and it has great natural values. There is a UNESCO Geopark. There are landscape parks. There are Natura 2000 sites. So it's a very beautiful area. And the house, the farm where the community seat home will be, is called the House of Creative Meetings. And the owners of this house are Danusia and Ptasia, and they say that the place was created to inspire creativity, respect for nature and all beings, and it's a place for education, local activities, and social integration. Here are also some pictures. Here are the owners, Dana and Ptasia, and together with the animals. And there's of course a garden, a natural garden, and a beautiful old post-German styled house. There are many initiatives going on in that place. There are lots of workshops, and for example, permaculture workshop, carpentry workshops. There's an academy of deep ecology. There are courses for kindergarten teachers, gardening workshops, which were run, by the way, by Joanna. Different classes for schools and kindergartens. So we feel that this place is ideal for seed-related education as well. So we can link this together very easily. And now shortly to the storage. So we planned the seeds will be stored in a seed house, like they will have their own tiny house. They will be displayed on bookshelves and kept in glass jars. We would like to keep them in glass jars because we think that this is some easily available material which you can get in every household, and they are also very good as protection. In case if this house turns out to be maybe a bit too cold in winter, then there is anytime there will be the possibility to move the seeds inside the bigger house. So this will not be a problem. This is still in development. Okay, now I would like to say something about our partners. We have a local cooperative here, which is functioning since 2014, and we think that together we can strengthen the cooperation between organic farmers and consumers. But basically the linkage is already here. So together with these few initiatives which I will present to you, we can also we can more easily reach the farmers, and we can promote also the use and the promotion of local seeds and local varieties. So there are a few initiatives that are linked to the local cooperative, and it is Paczka Izerska, which is something like a farmer's box, a group of a few farmers that sell together their produces. There is the farmers market in Jelena Góra, which is very, very popular and is growing each year. Then there is the Food Sovereignty Forum, which took place in 2019 and 2020 and will also be continued in future. There is the Food Cooperative in Jelena Góra. And there, since a few years, there is a fair organized a few times a year, where also local farmers sell their products, and there are many, many people coming to this fair. Okay, another initiative that is just building up right now is the Iseris Foundation. They're planning to have a folk university, like to open a folk university here. So we think that that this will be also a very valuable partnership. Okay, now they go to the objectives and the functions of our community seed home. So first of all, we would like to strengthen the local food system and increase food security from seed to seed. We would like to contribute to the growth of biodiversity and the adaptation of plants to local soil and climatic conditions. And we would, of course, like our network of seed savers to grow and to develop. And the functions I divided in 3 sections, as it was actually proposed by Ronnie Vernooy in his publications, and I arranged them in order of importance. So first of all, it's important for us that local home gardeners, allotment growers, and smallholder farmers have access to seeds. So we want to store them, and we want to maintain this access to good quality seeds, and we would like to organize seed exchanges. Seed exchanges are we think is a very, very important event. And then we would like to educate about gardening and seed saving practices and basically promote food and seed sovereignty. And then the last function will be the conservation of local varieties. But here it's the last point, because we are not quite sure if there are local varieties here right now. So we definitely need to do more research about that. This area where we live, there's a history of people migrating, and also communism caused gene erosion. So we have the feeling that there are not so many local varieties, especially here in the southwest of Poland. But we definitely want to look for them. We want to interview local farmers, and maybe it will be possible to bring back this local farmers' knowledge and local varieties. Yeah, and also another option will be, of course, we are very much looking forward to the cooperation with our National Gene Bank, and we hope that we will have better access to seeds, to different varieties that were local here once. We plan to have about 4 core organizers in our team, and basically our community seed home will be based on voluntary work. We would like to integrate volunteers into our work, and then we can share the main responsibilities, like with the storage of seeds, keeping a seed register, renewal of varieties, and of course the organization of the seed exchanges, promotion, and internal communication will be part of this part of the responsibilities. Now shortly to the membership model. This will be, we would like to give access to people, give access to the seeds for people who will become members of the community seed home. And it's very easy to become a member. We basically just want to have data and name, so that we know where the seeds are coming from and where the seeds are going to. And also a condition for taking seeds is to save seeds and donate them to the inventory. And this will be part of the, so in this way we would like to engage people more into the community seed house. And then we are also planning that every plant has its own seed steward who will be responsible for the propagation of this variety. And the cooperation will be based on mutual trust. So basically the aim is to bring together more experienced seed savers and less experienced seed savers. And of course, if we see that there are varieties where we have enough seeds, then we would like to share the excess. So that will encourage new people and to start saving seeds. And these new seed savers, they will start with easier varieties. And they will be implemented into the rules of the community seed home, and we will give also annual trainings for seed savers. We would like to have workshops for more experienced and less experienced seed savers. The priority will be to have seeds from local seed savers, which are adapted to local conditions and which are produced in an organic way, and that are of rare varieties. And as I said before, the seeds will be stored in glass jars, which will be marked with key details. And those standard labels we would like to print and provide to all of the seed savers. And then we will also keep a seed register with all kind of information. Information about the incoming and outgoing of seeds, but also what is very important for us is to register details about the variety, where it comes from. Also the history is very important. So every like all the history that it will be possible to find out, we will have in this register. I think this is very important for us. And then we will also have regular seed quality checks and germination tests whenever this is possible. I think we can implement that very easily into workshops. And this is how our annual calendar would look like. In January, February, we would like to have a spring seed swap, seed exchange, and then we can add seeds to the inventory. In April and May, we might have an exchange of seedlings, and this is another moment where we can add seeds to the inventory. In September, there will be in September or October, there will be a quality check of seeds, and if it's necessary, and the seeds are old or moldy and got bad, then they will be discarded. And then in November, we will have again an autumn seed swap together with the seed saving workshop. And then we also have the possibility to present the project and the vision and enroll new members. Okay, last but not least, I also wanted to say something about our fears and our hopes, because of course we have also our ups and downs. This is a pilot project. It's the first community seed house in Poland. So of course it puts also a bit of pressure on us. We would like it to function, so that it's sustainable for many years. And we are also in this pioneer stage, like it's just the beginning of our journey. So it's also quite a difficult moment for us. We are, we don't know really sometimes what to expect, how it will develop. And then also, COVID restrictions give us quite a hard time, because it's very important to meet with our local community, and we need these interactions. So this is less possible right now. And then we're also wondering about the sustainability, like can we keep up our motivation like it is right now? Is the facility good enough? Will the quality of the seeds be good enough? So of course there are all these uncertainties, and also the legal framework of this initiative. Can we operate in a legal area without a formal registration here in Poland? I think these are things that will also that we will also see how this develops in future. But of course the hopes are overbalanced. So on the other hand, all these uncertainties are also a driving motor, and our motivation is very big. We feel the importance of protecting seeds, and we feel that there is a potential to develop this initiative. We realized that simplicity is the key, that we have to keep it simple in the beginning and develop very slowly, step by step. it's a learning by doing process, and the education, like our education, is a very, very important part. And to end my presentation, I would like to share with you 2 quotations of our lecturers that are very, very important to me. The first one is by Katrina Fenton from Heritage Seed Library. She said that everyone can save seeds with a bit of care. And the other one was by Wayne Frankham, who said it starts with the will of one and the place for all. So with that, I thank you. And I hand over the voice to our expert, Ronnie Vernooy, and I'm looking forward to our discussion and to your comments. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marta. Yes, I invite Ronnie to join us now here, and just to inform everyone that this concept has been in the making for some time now. We've had already 1 consultation within the training group of our seed training, and we have some of our trainers supporting us to get legal advice on the specifics of our Polish legislation that will be relevant for such a small community initiative, so that it is in harmony and possibly in collaboration also with other seed providers, like seed companies from the market, and we build collaboration across sectors. Marta, thank you for this presentation. And Ronnie, from me, of course, handing over the voice to you, one particular aspect that I'd like you to comment on as well, since we are about to receive support from the National Center for Plant Genetic Resources, the National Seed Bank, is since you've been working on some protocols, how this collaboration can look like. How could our group in Sudety Mountains work with the National Seed Bank? What have been the kind of practices that work, that benefit both sides, and that increase viability of these kind of small initiatives? I think we hand over to you, and please go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Marta, for the really excellent presentation, and I'm really impressed by your proposal. I can see that a lot of care and attention has been paid, and I think you have had very good discussions about why you are setting this up, what this seed home will do or could do, and how you want to organize it. I think these are the 3 key questions that you always have to reflect on and try to come with something that is locally adapted and that is locally feasible. I think this is probably the first message that I want to give you, that there is no blueprint, there is no model to set up a community seed bank or a community seed home or whatever name you think is appropriate to give to it. And I think this is something that we learned from failing, because in the beginning, I think there were people who thought, oh, we come up with a model and it will work everywhere. And that is simply not the case. I think you have a huge advantage in the sense that you can build and integrate this initiative in something that is already there. And that is often a problem with a community seed bank, which is started from scratch, and where the emphasis is necessarily on conservation at the beginning. But if it's not really strongly embedded in local society, let's call it that way, it's often difficult to start it up and then to embed it in what is going on. And from what I hear, you don't have to worry about that. I think there are so many opportunities because you have already a local seed network of people you can trust, who are all motivated and who can all contribute in one way or another. you have all these, local forms of cooperation, of collective action, the farmer market and the farmer box. You're already organizing the annual seed event and the food fair, and there's the ICRS Foundation. I see there's so much going on, maybe even too much, maybe at this moment in time, but I think this is very important for a sustainable community seed bank to be able to link to and to embed in a wider, social movement. I think that is what you're trying to create, and that's wonderful. That's difficult to do, and in some countries is not allowed to do. But I think I can see in Poland it is possible, and you're already doing it. So I think that these are really very positive factors. Let's call it that way. So I think about the actual, what you want to do and why. I think everything that you have presented makes very good sense, and I fully support the approach that you want to take. You start small and keep it simple, and over time you can expand and do more things, and reach out to more people and maybe to a wider area, because I think it makes very good sense to learn by doing and not try to overdo it. So I think also in terms of your approach and the way you see things moving forward makes very good sense. One thing that you could do, of course, is to develop a kind of time chart. Let's say, what do you want to achieve in the year 1? Where see you this going in year 2? Where see you this going in year 3? And maybe put some, we call them sometimes the milestones, or some of the things that you want to achieve. And then that also serves as a kind of monitoring tool to see how you are doing. And if at the end of the year 1, you manage, for example, to have 20 vegetable accessions and maybe 10 major grains and 20 pulses. I mean, I'm just giving some examples, but I think that may help to keep motivated and to see how you are doing. So it's a kind of I think a community seed home is also kind of an enterprise in a way. I think it's something you set up to achieve something, and so let's try to define what you want to achieve in numbers. I think that could be maybe useful to think about. I think I sent you some comments already this morning. I would suggest that, given that there's a very strong component of education, which is a kind of a social and cultural function of the seed home, I would simply add it to either your objectives or to the functions of what you want to do. Maybe even more to the objectives, because you already wrote education under your functions. But I think it's so important, and since you have the chance to work with children, and if this folk university gets going, I guess that is also for adults, and so popular education I think could be very important to make it clear that you're also contributing to that. And it's again not something that many community seed banks do, I mean, explicitly, but of course some of them they try to engage with the young school kids or with the university students. And so I think that seems like a good opportunity, because you have the farm where these things are already taking place. Yeah, you already mentioned that now, since this morning, you have the formal support and collaboration with the National Gene Bank. I certainly would also write that somewhere in either the objectives or the functions, maybe more, again, could be in the objectives, because I think what you would like to do is to set up a kind of strong national agro-biodiversity conservation system. That is the way I have started to formulate this objective when we work with our partners in the developing world. And it is also in this context, as Joanna mentioned, that we are working on a protocol of collaboration, because luckily we see more and more national gene banks interested to do this, to work with community seed banks, and so we think it could be useful to have a kind of guideline of how you do this. Sorry, I have to drink some water. Maybe one word about the local varieties question. It came also in one of the questions that Joanna sent me. I would not be, too strict about this. Some communities, seed banks or seed huts or whatever they are called, they are, they really want to focus only on local varieties or traditional varieties. I mean that is fine, and that is one option, but I think the reality is, and I think certainly in Europe, that farmers make use of different types of varieties. And as you already mentioned yourself, we don't even know, you don't even know right now if there are still local traditional varieties around. If there are not, I don't think per se that is a problem, because I think the varieties that the farmers have and maintain and improve, they are a kind of introduced local varieties. And I think as long as farmers keep on improving them and adapting them to the to the local conditions, the changing local conditions, why should these materials not go into the seed home? And plus, I think, and this is something that is a question from me to you, there are often farmers who do crop improvements, who cross. I mean, first of all, who do variety selection, but there must also be farmers in your region who cross and try to breed new varieties. And if they do this over 3 cycles, 4 cycles, 5 cycles, and manage to come up with an improved variety, then it is also a locally improved variety. And again, I think that is wonderful. That is why we maintain, traditional varieties as an input for crop improvement. And the experience that we have, and that we have documented in our 2015 book, is that community seed banks that do add crop improvement become more viable, because you can see you're adding value to the conservation function of the community seed bank or community seed home. Of course, it's good to have some fears. That is normal, but the ones that you put on the paper, they are not to worry about too much, I would say, and they are very common. And I think you seem already to have some of the answers to this. I wrote this morning a few comments about sustainability, because that is, from 30 years of doing this work with community seed banks around the world, that is really maybe the most important thing to consider from the beginning. And since you have a chance to do that now and to learn from other countries, I think it is good to develop a few strategies how you can add value. And I would also say generate some income for the community seed home, because you will run into certain costs, although the labor may be free, but I think there are some material costs, maintenance costs. You mentioned the jars, the shelves, the bookkeeping books. You may want to think about, which I also said this morning, one day to set up a seed catalog and make that available online. So there are kind of small investments that will require some money. But so yeah, I try to think about creative ways how to do this. One model is you can still have a membership model, but you could ask people to maybe contribute, I don't know, €10 every year. And you may start with only 20 members in the first year, but maybe it grows. And after 3 years, you have 1,000 members, and then 1,000 times €10 or €5. That's 5,000 euro or 10,000 euro. So that is not bad. I think you should think about this. These are just suggestions. And of course, what we are trying now to do with our community seed banks in the south, who have been doing this kind of work for 5 years or 10 years, we are trying to get them to become seed producers. Actually, we just finished a working paper last week, where we tried to document, which I can share with you. We tried to document some pilot experiences of community seed banks, trying to become seed producers. And then, of course, you run into the legal issues immediately that you mentioned as well. But in some countries, it is possible, or we can find ways to market, seeds and add value. And I think that's also a very important function of a community seed bank. I think these are my main. Maybe one component which you put is the capacity, and this is a function in itself, to adapt to climate change. I cannot tell you how important that is. And 99% of our work in Bioversity International is now working with farmers to adapt to climate change. And this also brings the idea of collaborating with other community seed initiatives. And this could be another function of your community seed home, which is to bring new diversity to your place, which, by the way, looks very beautiful. I've never been to Poland, but I hope one day after this COVID situation, I will be able to come and visit you. And this is also, of course, where the National Gene Bank comes in to play, because the National Gene Bank does have collections from all over your country, and maybe some materials from other countries. And I'm also pretty sure that your National Gene Bank is most likely connected to the European network of gene banks. Or if not, they could easily reach out to that network, which is another source of either bringing old materials back, which is what we're trying to do, or to exchange, or to get materials from other places to try out in your region. So I'll stop here, and maybe others have also things to say or ask. You can ask more questions. You call me an expert, but I'm also learning how to do this. I have a small seed library in my kitchen downstairs. And I have a small greenhouse in my garden. I'm also still learning how to do this.
Wonderful, Ronnie. Thank you so much for such a multi-perspectival take on how the concept can be developed, and where else the connections can be made with the National Seed Bank, with developing education as an objective, with thinking about bringing diversity both from the kind of historical region, but also from maybe sister projects that are over the border with Czech Republic or Germany, or maybe further south. That's also very useful. I think there might be a few more voices, and maybe even a few more questions to you about the things we didn't consider before meeting with you. So I would ask now for others to join us in the dialogue for the rest of the time. And I think in particular your comments about the enterprising element is quite valid, because when we actually start connecting the seed to seed idea with the consumers, like there's so much possibility for this in the Sudety region with so many initiatives, the Perski Izerski, the Izerska Cooperative, the farmers market, and even, for example, with restaurants, we started building the culture of local varieties on the plate, and then the people can actually really care for seeing those plants being grown locally, and that really creates a kind of whole chain model of seed saving that I think Arkanoa has been particularly good in proposing in terms of keeping the local agro-biodiversity. And also the enterprise, so maybe the last comment for me, enterprise element, I think it's important so that the people who are doing the work, which we have heard from many of the seed keepers that we interviewed, it's a lot of work. It's hours of seed cleaning, drying, packing. Sometimes these can be actually generative of work, of paid work, and I think it's excellent. It's an excellent examples. Some excellent examples we've had from Heritage Seed Library from UK or from Spain. From Red de Semillas, where they were showing that they are able also to be viable with very small budget. So I will stop here and open the discussion. I don't know, Ronnie, if you have something more to add. Otherwise, whoever would like to take floor, please maybe just raise your hand and unmute yourself, having checked that no one else is concurrently speaking. Any comments on the presentation of Marta, or on your reactions also to what Ronnie was suggesting and what struck you will be helpful now. Veronica.
Thank you. Thank you, Marta, for a wonderful presentation, and Ronnie for all that you recommended us so far and all your advices. It's very helpful, I think. And I have actually a question. What I see from reading the publications is that many times there might be a tension between the top-down approach and bottom-up approach, because on the one hand, at the end of the day, there is this one person who owns, let's say, this building or has the key, and on the other hand, all the other people, the community, they need to feel the ownership for it not to create this kind of approach that, okay, I come in and everything is already made, everything is built, and I have this client approach that, that now I will just use it and I just want to benefit from it. So if you have any advice on how to engage people, but not only to engage that they will come and help for 2 hours one day, but to really create ownership, feeling of ownership. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a very important question. I'm a strong believer in participatory approaches, and I can give you the example of a process that we were asked to put in place about 6 years ago in South Africa, which is one of the chapters in our book. And you may have seen actually that the manuals that we developed were supported by the government of South Africa, because in South Africa, the government, the National Gene Bank, approached us to start setting up community seed banks and to support them over the long run. So this is what we did. And the way we have been doing it, we were going to certain communities where we thought that this could work. And the first thing we do is we organize an open meeting, and we talk not about the community seed bank at all, but we talk about what is going on in your community in relation to agro-biodiversity. And if you look at the first if you look at the training approach that we have developed, you will see the first module is all about this. And then, there are some simple tools like the 4-cell analysis or the 5-cell analysis that you can do together with people in the community. And it's actually fun to do. And this makes people realize, what is happening with the local crops, and how was it 10 years ago? How was it 20 years ago? I think certainly the farmers and gardeners among you, you must have already seen the impact of the changing climate. So you can also talk about that, and then you can think about how will it be 2 years from now, you know, with the temperatures continuing to go up in Europe, and all these freak weather events that we are having, and which will also increase. So I think that is one entry point to start a dialogue in the community, and you know, broaden sort of the perspective about it. But I think since you have already, you know, now this idea, and you have a place, and you have a facility, I think the way to engage with people is through things like seed fairs and food fairs. I mean, this is what we have been promoting from the beginning, and we continue to do so. And this is how you can attract people who may not necessarily even know that, you know, bread is made from wheat, and maybe in your region it's not so bad, but because you're in a rural area. But you know, this is the reality, and this is how you engage with the school children. And this is something that I wish we would have done much more, and which is often difficult. But I think getting the local school involved, that will create also ownership. And you know, one of the things that I've seen, and that even the school of my daughter is doing here, they have a little school garden, and so you can just ask them to grow out some of the varieties that you have in the seed home, and let them see for themselves, and let them discover what is diversity and why is it important to have diversity. So I think it's the same process now. Keep it simple and keep it open. And I think this is how I think people who are interested in gardening, or who are interested in fresh organic food, they will come. I think they will. I think you have huge potential. It may go so fast because you have already the consumer demand side, which especially in the developing world, is often very difficult to create. So what some of the other community seed banks have done, you know, work with local restaurants or local chiefs who like to put diversity and local foods on their menu. I mean, that's a fantastic way to get things done, I think. I hope I have somehow responded to your question.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the aspect of timing is also quite relevant, because as it is in your publication, is that it's the first thing that you do to gather the people and to talk with them. So I wonder if in our case, we should, even before physically building it, involve the people, so that they will not encounter it ready-made, you know. I think it's somehow a psychological effect of this ownership, that you have put your work into something with your hands, and then you feel deeply connected.
Yeah, no, I think that, it's not to deny that you have already this plan on the table. That is, we also had that when we started in South Africa.
Okay.
But we still asked the community to vote. Anyway, on one of the covers, you can see this photo that we put, because people actually. So we analyzed the situation, and then we said, okay, well, we have this idea to set up a community seed bank. What do you think about it? And we asked them to vote, and they voted with their fists, you know. And luckily, 90% of the farmers, or maybe 95% of the farmers, they all said, yes, let's do it. So that's one mechanism to build this local buy-in and support.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Yeah, maybe we can also take a couple of comments and questions, and Ronnie, you could take them down and see if there's any correspondence between them to respond in a few moments. So would any one of you want to add something? Emilka?
Thank you very much for presentations and comments. It's very valuable. So I would have one comment on the topic of how to get people involved. So in my opinion, it's very useful to have clear paths and tasks. So what happens when a new person comes that would like to join in? That someone is taking care of this person. It's the tasks are being clearly set, who and when and how, so that the person does not feel like just, okay, I would like to join, but no one is there and I don't know what to do. So the person may get frustrated, and so they may just resign and say, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. And on the other side, a good planning would help also these organizers to be this 4 members, or could help to avoid being also frustrated if they see the tasks are not being done because they were not planned or people were not assigned to the tasks, like these milestones, So my opinion is also not to expect that something will happen. People will come and will know what to do and how to do. I would rather really plan that very simply, very clear, so that everyone knows what happens and what's to be done. That's from me. Thank you.
Yeah, I can respond if you like. I think that's very good. And I always, when I introduce community seed banks, just for myself, because I used to be a soccer player when I was young, I think a community seed bank is like a soccer club. And you should look at it in that way. To run a soccer club, you need people who maintain the grass, who paint the stripes on the field, who clean the place, who keep the order, who run the coffee shop. So I think it's similar to a community seed bank. Is a social enterprise, very much so. And so if you can spell out, if you can sort of group these different tasks that need to be done, and I mean, some people, then people can also make a choice. Some people like to cut the grass, and others like to do the bookkeeping. Others may want to help you with, checking the seed health. So I think that's a very good way to organize it. And you can, I've seen some of the community seed banks, they put a poster on the wall in the room, and it has all these different tasks, and it has also the process that needs to be done when the seed come in, from the moment the seed comes in till the seed gets stored and recorded. I think that's a very simple way to also visualize what needs to be done, and it reminds people of, it shows people what they can do, and it reminds people of what needs to be done to keep the place going. So I think it's very good. These are very good suggestions. And I think it's very important that this is a learning, you said it in your last slide, is a learning by doing process. Nobody, except the people who study maybe seeds, I think maybe they know, but they may know how to store and save seeds, but maybe they don't know how to run a social enterprise. So I think there's nobody in this world who is a community seed bank expert by studying anywhere in the world, because you cannot study community seed banking anywhere in the world. You can only study it in practice and learn from the other people. So I think it's very, that is something, maybe you can, I don't have one of the beautiful one-liners that you got from some of the other experts, but you can think about something like paint it on your door. I just remind two things on the technical side, which I picked up from your nice presentation, Marta. One is the bottles. And with Joanna, we had a bit of interaction before we started. There are many very interesting things that we can share with you about the technical management. And this includes, of course, the choice of the storage materials that you're going to use. So I kind of offered to maybe we can have another seminar, or not a seminar, but a kind of presentation. And I will bring one of the colleagues here from Wageningen, who is actually a seed expert. We could do it together and show you some of these very simple things that you can do and why they are important to look at. So about the bottles, bottles are good for one reason, because you can see what is inside. So you can show, indeed, you can show the seed that is inside to people. People can learn it, they can observe it. And you can, of course, you can observe whether there's a disease or mold or, the animals inside. The bad thing about glass is that it breaks very quickly. And you will see people will be roaming around in your little facility and they want to touch things. And so that is something, there's nothing wrong with the recycling, the reuse of, strong plastic bottles. These are as good as glass jars. And if you choose the transparent ones, I won't call the brand names, but you probably know what I'm talking about, or even the ones that are used for the water, the drinking water. And these are as good as glass jars, and they don't break. They hardly break if you go for the strong ones. The second point of this is, of course, that for some of the seeds you will have only small quantities, and again, that's an advantage. Well, I think also if you go to any department store, and you could probably find small, both glass and plastic jars, because what is very important is that you try to fill up whatever container you use till the top, because then there is no air inside. The moment that you leave space of air for air in any container, then the chance that things go wrong just increases considerably. So this is one principle. You need to adjust the size of your jar to the amount of seeds that you have. And then whether it's glass or plastic is not so important. The second thing, you mentioned the cold in Poland. Well, if you go to the National Gene Bank, you will find out that the medium storage average temperature, and this is based on science, is -5. Yeah, so it's actually very good for medium-term seed storage. And for long-term storage, it's, if I remember correctly, is -18 or -20. So maybe you had a winter like this. We just had a week like that here in the Netherlands. Is no problem. You should not worry at all about that. I think by bringing the seeds to your warm house, you will get in. That is what the problems will come if you do that. So yeah, these are very simple technical things that I just wanted to raise, and we could organize something about it. And I will bring Arnab Gupta, my colleague. I will ask him to join me, and we can entertain you, and you can ask more questions about this.
Great. I really would love this session with you and your colleague, because to just see a variety of different ways of storing and arranging and from around the world would be great material for us. And we will be, I think, moving towards a summary of this session, but I'd like to hand over voice to one more person, Viola, to give us your comment, and then we will hand over to Marta to give us a little sense of what is useful for you from this dialogue.
Yes, thank you. I want to comment something about communication. I think communication is very important. It's a grassroots movement, and many things happen, a lot of work, and most of the things are new. So I think communication between the members with local institutions, with local people, with people from the world, like now we have some communication, It's very important to have good connections with all of the possibilities, with restaurants, like you said, with all of the institutions. Who knows? Maybe they will go in and help with artists, with restaurants, with farmers, with consumers, with children, with seniors. I think communication is like very important all of the time. It's very good to ask about help, that experts come from outside to help us to communicate in very good way, clear communication with love and understanding each other. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate this, and we've had so many trainers joining us and supporting us to communicate with seeds that I think we really got. You're helping to reiterate this message to anyone who's watching this. Marta, I would like to invite you to share in a few words what has been useful for you. What do you think might be included in your plan? Or discussed and developed further?
Yeah, thank you, Ronnie, so much. Your advices, your recommendations were really wonderful and very motivating. Thank you so much that you share your knowledge with us, your great experience, and yeah, also appreciated a lot your motivating and warm words that we are on the right path and that we are doing the good things. This is very important for us, as this is voluntary work for all of us. So that's really great. Thank you. Yeah, I think all your comments were very valuable, and we will think about it in our team, in our local seed network. We will think about it. We will develop this community seed home according to what you have said. Yeah, indeed. You were talking about temperatures. Yeah, temperatures here in Poland can be quite cold, and this winter was especially cold. So we had also -20 degrees at night. So yeah, we will think about the storage still, because this house, if it's not so well isolated, then maybe the temperature isn't. It will like be a bit fluctuating, and maybe this is not so good. That if the -20 is not a problem, but again, if during the day the sun is shining and then it gets again in plus temperature, so maybe this is not good, that it changes a lot. So yeah, thanks for this advice. The jars, yeah, you're right. They might break, especially when there are lots of people coming in and out in this farm, and also children. And they're, as we know, they are not manually so well developed yet. So maybe we will think about. In the beginning, we will start with jars because we have them, and it's easy to get them, and then later on. We will think about something else. Also, we did not think about how to about the investments, that we actually need some finances to run this place. So yeah, this is very important. I think that we discussed this over. How can we have the possibility to earn some money, maybe really through registering 1 or 2 different varieties and then just sell them on the market. Maybe this will be enough. Maybe we get some sponsors. Yeah, we will see. Thank you so much. It was really wonderful to hear you and to get to know you. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Yeah, I like your idea of having a carpet, but that would still not solve the problem. And if you put the carpet, the temperature will go up, so it's also not so good. But no, I think one way to do it is, of course, to isolate your roof. That is very important. And the other thing that is important is ventilation. So you need to have some sort of ventilation system in place. Well, thank you. I really think, you know, when I look at what you have done already and the people and that you have, and the wonderful area, the nature, and the area, I think, is all very good conditions to make this a big success. So yeah, I wish you all the best, and I hope you keep me informed about how things evolve. And like I said, Wageningen is not so far from Poland, so maybe one day I'll come and see for myself, and we can talk more about it. But I do commit to organizing this special session if you're interested. And it's also fun. I mean, working in the community seed bank is also fun, and learn about these different, techniques and So yeah, let's try to do that, and then we'll take it from there. Sorry, one more thing. I already prepared the box for DHL with hard copies of the manuals. And I think then you can see these images of some of them, of many of the community seed banks that we are working with. So that I think these images will probably give you even more inspiration than me talking about it. So they say it will take maybe up to a week to reach you, but I will drop them tomorrow at the DHL office here.
Wonderful. These are the guidebooks that Ronnie has written. We will receive a few copies, but we can circulate them like a lot of other things, ideas and seeds. On this note, I will also just briefly summarize. We've had a meeting on the concept of the first community seed home in Poland. It's a pilot initiative in the Sudeckiego Mountains, supported technically by the National Center for Plant Genetic Resources, the National Gene or Seed Bank of Poland. And within our group here, we've had trainees and trainers from the Agro-Perma-Lab training, as well as representative of the Power of Seed Network or Seed Power Network, Viola, Emilka, who's an editor-in-chief of the first guidebook or toolkit on community seed homes in Poland, Agnieszka, who is running Seed Exchange Initiative in Warsaw, and Marcina, who wants to establish the first seed home or seed bank in the greater Poland, and of course Veronica, who is inseparable member with me of this mischief. So thank you again. We will finish here, and yes, for any more information, follow our website agro-permalab.org, because we will have those resources pulled together in the form of library curriculum, and also specific website dedicated to this first community seed home, so that people can learn without exerting too much pressure or pleasure of communication on the first community seed bank holders. So thank you. Ronnie will be in touch about the next session, and we finish here. Thanks.